Donald Trump set to deliver a speech today from St. Anselm College in Manchester, New Hampshire. Trump joining Fox and Friends earlier this morning. He criticized the Obama administration's current immigration policy. Listen.
And we're bringing thousands and thousands of them back into this country and into the country every year. We're allowing them to come into the country.
You mean refugees?
I'm talking about people coming in from Syria where we have no idea who they are. We have no idea as to paperwork, as to where they came from. This could be the all-time great Trojan horse.
Joining me now, someone who knows a lot about the immigration system here in this country, former Texas Governor Rick Perry. Governor, thank you for joining us this morning.
Welcome, Sandra.
It's a dark morning as we now learn that there are 49 victims in this massacre in Orlando. 49 dead, the shooter dead as well. Your thoughts this morning as we see the FBI carry out what is a very intense and detailed investigation?
As the governments, whether it's the federal or the state, go through the investigation, you know, there are things that the private citizen can do on this as we kind of get our arms around it and know where we can help, whether it's giving blood, you know, whether it's being able to donate to help the families of these individuals that we've lost. On a bigger issue, and you made reference to Mr. Trump and his remarks this morning, I think he's spot on when it comes to this issue of criticizing the current administration for the lack of vetting of individuals that are coming into this country. There's got to be some better options than bringing individuals into this country when we haven't done the background work. I mean, is it working with our allies in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, for instance, where refugee camps can be set up there rather than transporting them halfway around the world and putting them into communities that, quite frankly, may not be suited for them, but a real issue that I think has to be addressed, as well as these agencies of government that appear to have failed, whoever it is, is it Homeland Security, is it FBI, as we look at these individuals. I mean, how they missed this one, how they missed this individual is a real head scratcher.
Well, Governor, to your point, he was investigated by the FBI twice, we're learning, in 2013 and 2014. And he, as KT McFarland said, fell through the cracks. So whether or not there was a mistake made there, we'll obviously find that out in days and weeks to come. But, Governor, you're talking about immigration and Donald Trump's call on immigration to more closely monitor those coming into this country, or to even stop some of those coming into this country. But this man that you're looking at here right now, the shooter in this massacre, he was born here. He was born in New York City. They're living amongst us and carrying out these types of attacks. What can we do to prevent that?
Well, I think the next president of the United States has to truly get these agencies focused on this issue of radical Islam, whether it's homegrown, these lone wolf types, or whether it's happening halfway around the world and allowing individuals to come in here. So I don't think that our federal government has focused on this properly. Why, I don't know, but I think most Americans agree that we have done a poor job of being able to really identify who these individuals are. And that's got to change. And I think that's one of the reasons that Donald Trump is very popular out there from the standpoint of a political standpoint, and what he's saying, that we're going to address this, and we're going to address it so Americans know that they will be safe, secure this country's borders, put the processes in place so that Americans know that they can get up and go to a nightclub or go to a church or go to a baseball game and be safe.
Does this, Governor, put immigration and foreign policy, national security, does this become the central theme of this election as we head into the fall?
Well, nothing's going to trump economics because if you don't have the resources to pay for the Homeland Security, to pay for the military, I think our military, a great example of we've let it for 7 years basically start to shrink and shrivel on the vine, if you will, when young men and women aren't getting the needed supplies and the needed equipment. So there's a lot that's going to have to be done. You got to get this economy back on track first, and parallel with that, start building our military back up, defending our borders, having our agencies of government really get focused on this issue of Islamic terrorism and how we stop it right here at home and halfway around the world.
Governor, this is Steve Rogers. I'm a former member of the National Joint Terrorism Task Force. I have a question for you. We've talked about how to address this issue, but what has never been talked about anywhere is the fact that our educational system in this country is failing. I mean, when we see what is being taught to students in college, the politically correct lessons that they're getting, no more civics in schools, lack of American history. Do you see that as part of a solution to bring those things back so we could instill pride in this country again?
Well, certainly my home state is one of those that I think still do a pretty good job of, we still teach Texas history in 7th grade, and I think it serves a real purpose. So you're spot on from the standpoint of standing up for America, being proud of this country. We are an exceptional nation. When the President of the United States stands up and basically apologizes for America, when the President of the United States basically sends the message that America is not exceptional, then it not only does it play into the hands of those that would do harm to America, I think it's a bad message for the next generation of Americans as they come forward.
Former Governor Rick Perry, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Good to have you, sir.